Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the early show. Apocalypse. Thought I'd try a bit of different music this morning. Kind of like the wakey sound of a plucky banjo, but it's still not as good as this. And here we are. What day is it today? It's Tuesday the 30th of June. Wow. We're almost at the end of June. That is like the end of 50% of the entire year. Wow. What's happening with that? That's crazy. Was it not just Christmas like 2 days ago? Did we not just start lockdown this morning? It's insane. Absolutely insane. I can't believe how quickly this year's gone. And what makes it even more worse, which is even funnier for me actually, is the fact that my birthday's been and gone, and I'm on the countdown to 50. What? I am counting down to 50 years old. I am blown away, completely blown away. Which is crazy. There's Dirty Mac. Good morning, Mac. How are you? I listened to that Jelly Roll song. It was quite touching, about forgiveness for the mistakes that one has made. It's great. It's a bit of poetry in music. I kind of liked it. It was good. It was good. Thank you for putting me onto that. I'm very touched. Very touched. The song was good. It was good. And Morgan. To Morgan as well. Good morning, Morgan. Hope you're good. Hope you've had a good night's sleep. I've not had a good night's sleep. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was watching a bit of the old Picard last night. Picard. That show with Captain Jean-Luc on it. After he's retired. Oh, excuse me. I finished episode 3 of it last night. It's very good. I have to say I'm enjoying it greatly. Enjoying it immeasurably. Indeed. Right, okay, let me fix my chat window, because for some reason the chat bar that I usually use is not coming up in the YouTube studio. Don't know why. I should have refreshed the screen before I pushed go live. So I've had to bring it up in another window, which is great. Right. So today's Tuesday. We don't really do a show on the Tuesday evening. It gives me a chance to catch up and do things. So what I'm going to do today, oh wow, excuse me, after this is I finished the words for a project that I'm doing. I now need to put the words to a bit of video footage and create the animation that I'm doing with it. So I'm going to do that this afternoon. I'm going to do some housework. My good lady wife has to go the weekly shop today because the children will come back tomorrow from their mamas. And then tomorrow night, as you can see from the, hang on, which way does my hand go? Yeah, there. Tomorrow night we are on the human condition again, which is all the positive and negative aspects of human behaviours. It's not so much examples of like talking about, hey, you're a cult, hey, you're a murderer, hey, or anything like that, or hey, you're a a wonderful guru of positivity. It's nothing like that. It's about the behaviours behind them, and I've got about 2 or 3 choices about what I can do tomorrow night. So I'm going to leave it as a surprise and then advertise it later. I think I quite like the ones about why people do stuff, because the whole aspect of the human condition, the negative things, always sort of like boil back down to the toxic behaviours of people, which is what we talked about in the very first show. And then we demonstrated how those can be used to fool people with the show that was all about online gurus, about those ones that like to con you out of money, the financial aspect of it. Then we looked at cult behaviours, and not necessarily religious cult behaviours, and the behaviours of how people get convinced to join a cult. What happens with the behaviours of the cult when they leave that cult. Then we did the good-natured things after 3 weeks of like, oh my god, we're all wankers, that was we did the humility, compassion and empathy, which basically is all the boiling down for good things. I actually wanted to touch on grief tomorrow night, because the feelings of grief is quite important to me just now, because there's a friend of mine it's just there's a friend of mine's mother who's passed away just recently. The funeral was yesterday, or was it today? I think it's today actually. And obviously I can't go to it because I'm still shielding, and I think that there's an online stream of it, so I think I'll attend that today. I think it's quite important. And she went into the hospital with something wrong with her back, but I'm pretty sure she died of respiratory things related to COVID, so it's a bit of a tragedy to say the least. And I want to pay my respects to Hazel. Poor Hazel. Poor John. I'm a friend of the son and of the husband. So that's kind of the other thing that I'm doing today. But grief is a funny feeling, because it doesn't encompass the same sort of behaviours that you find in the positive behaviours or the negative behaviours. And it's one of those behaviours when you act within grief, it can be sort of like anger and sort of like the need for love. And it's important that we recognise that sometimes when somebody's suffering from grief, that they don't have a choice or that control element that we've talked about before. It's crazy. Maybe crazy. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat before we go into the papers. What? Not wanted on my server, Dirty Mac. Now it's nothing to do with that. It's purely that there's been a lot of issues with anybody that has been in both communities. So I tend, anybody that came before any problems with people joining my community with my brother and I tend not to bring anybody across, because I don't want any more problems with my brother feeling that people are leaving his community for my community. So I don't bring anybody in that's over there. I think Nyla's done stuff with me for a very long time, since I started my Discord, and there was people that were in both communities right from said go. and but then it started to cause problems. So I said to my brother weeks ago, I said, I'm not letting anybody else come across, but you're welcome to always interact with us here. And it's not because of you, it's not because of anybody else, it's purely because the last thing that I want is any more sort of problems for my brother, and him feeling that people are leaving his community, because I don't want that. I don't want people to think that or anything. I don't want him to feel that. So please don't think that you're not welcome, because you always are welcome. But if I know that you're very good friends with my brother as well, because I've seen interaction and things, and I know that you're a good man in his community and things. But I just don't want you. Please don't think that you're not welcome, because you are welcome here. It's just that I made a rule for myself. I thought, I don't want my brother thinking that I'm stealing people from him, if you understand. So I thought it would be much easier to say, hey, you're from my brother's community, yeah, you can interact with us on YouTube, you can interact with me on any of my social medias, but when it comes to Discord, on that server, then I've got a tendency to keep, it's not keeping the door closed because you're not welcome, it's keeping the door closed because I don't want my brother to think that people are coming across here for anything. If they I don't want him to think that I'm stealing people from him, because that's not what this is about. It's not that at all. So yeah, which is one of those things. But you're always welcome to be. You've always been very, very friendly on this, and it's nothing. It's not you personally. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's purely, how can I say it? It's for an easy life. I don't want. I love my brother, and I don't want him to feel that what I do is encouraging people to leave and enjoy what he does, because I don't think that's fair for him to feel that, because he's he doesn't deserve that, and he's a good person. He does a lot of good work, and that good work at exposing the darker natured people in the world needs to be recognised as a positive thing. So yeah, that's pretty much why people come across. But no, you shouldn't delete both. If you're part of my brother's community, you should stay as part of my brother's community, because it's a massive community, and there's lots of things going on there, and you can always be chatting with us here and send me some more songs that you like, alright, because I was blown away with that choice. I was like, wow, I quite like that, that's really good. But there we go. Anything else in there just now? My weekend was good if you're talking to me. Pickles! Hi, good morning, Pickles. How are you? And Morgan Riley, your city may be on extended lockdown. Well, that's something we're going to talk about. Hang on a second. I need to start taking my medication. Oh God, how could just a small pill get stuck? Well, because I've only got half that space in my throat. Right. Yes, today's papers kind of reflect an awful lot of what's going on in Leicester. But I want to bring up a little video to show our lovely Prime Minister's attitude towards all this. So I'm going to play this. I'm only going to play a little part of it. But his attitude in dealing with this is insane. So let me quickly bring this up and play it for you.
Opening as much of hospitality as we can on July the 4th, opening as much of the economy as we can. Some things, alas, still remain, closed until they can become COVID secure. But to make all that possible, we have to remain vigilant. We have to continue to do the basics, washing our hands and all that. Plus, we need to have local lockdowns and local
Yep. Makes
whack-a-mole
sense.
strategies where that's necessary.
That's it.
Or maybe it's been imported.
Whack-a-mole
I think it's probably
strategies.
the former.
Whack-a-mole. Can we just rewind that a bit? Hold on.
Spike.
No, back a bit. Where did we get to? Where is Boris?
As if it's a...
Where is Boris? There he is.
Whack-a-mole strategies for lockdowns and local...
Again?
Whack-a-mole strategies where...
Whack-a-mole strategies. Whack-a-mole. 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 Whack-a-mole strategies. So basically something pops up, we have to beat it down. Okay, that is a perfectly good analogy, but a lot of people took offence to it because of Boris's tendency to be talking absolute shit most of the time. To be perfectly honest, I get why people are upset with that. I really, really, really do. And long and short of it all, wow. You know, poor people, poor Boris. Well, not really poor Boris, but holy crapperoni. You know, it's whack-a-mole. You know, a statesman, somebody who is a proper leader, might not have used that to put the same message across, but it's the way his brain works for it all. It's like if I was in his position, it would be, I would talk about the same things. Say, look, we've had a spike in the rise of COVID-19 in Leicester. How this has happened, we're investigating. But we need to deal with this effectively so it does not spread further and cause a second spike in it. So we have to have a reactionary tactic in dealing with this. Now there's the same message. Now I sound sincere, I don't sound like a first-rate twat, okay, talking shit. Okay, I'm swearing this morning, I can't help it. I'm already ranting. We're not even on the papers yet. Maybe we should go to the papers because that was just crazy. Right, let me bring up the papers and we'll look at it. Mush is in the house as well. Hiya, Mush. And did I see Nyla there? Nyla, that's very good. Nyla, I went to my bed last night after the show, and I ended up watching 1.5 episodes of Picard, and I feel like I've not had any sleep at all. It's like I feel like 3 hours later I'm up doing another show. If I fall asleep in the middle of talking about the papers, alright, just somebody give me a pinch and say, you're supposed to be reading the papers, Mo. Right, okay. You know what it's like. Right, where is my papers? That's that one there. Bring that one up there. We go down to that one there, and we're done. Cool. So let's bring up the papers. Here we go. And the first one is the Daily Mirror. And the Daily Mirror is hold on, I can't see what's on the screen there. We should make that a bit bigger. Is that big enough? Can you see that okay? Yeah, you can. That's cool. And I will bring up the chat so I can keep abreast of what you wonderful folk are saying as well, because I like to chit chat. Right, okay. So, Daily Mirror. Two adverts at the top. First, local lockdown. Yeah, so school and non-essential shops shut again in Leicester after spike cases. The announcement that the lockdown will be tightened in Leicester following a rise in coronavirus cases in the city leads to most of the front pages today. The Daily Mirror describes the move as Britain's first local lockdown, with the city's non-essential shops and schools forced to close again, except for the vulnerable pupils and children of key workers. So here we go. Why has this happened? Why is there another spike in this? Now I want you to take note of I should actually try and find I'll make a bigger window just now while we're doing this, because I think that seeing which one shall we use? Okay, no, I think we're going to have to make a hole. Yes, that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Right, okay, just duplicate that. Boom. And we'll call that number 3. Right, I'm wanting to bring up the papers as a massive screen for you, so you can see the... okay, that's good. Why are you not showing my thing on there? Right, okay, so what I'll do is I'll come across like this, and then I'll bring it across like this again. That's good. Right, excellent. So yeah, I want you to see the full glory of those soldiers doing their job. But I cannot see where it is. Why? Hang on, if I do that, and I do... No, see, that's the wrong one. I should be bringing up that one. That's the one we need to duplicate. I'm a lunatic. Lunatic, there we go. And that's good. And then we can go like this and bring that along like that. But we'll switch the camera off. Boom. That's good. Right, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Right, so here we go. This is just a very quick look at this, right? This is a bigger picture of the actual papers for you. Look at the soldiers. Our soldiers helping do either drive-in testing, or they are, I don't know what, it's whatever it is, but the PPE they're wearing are surgical masks, alright? Surgical masks and plastic aprons. Their arms are bare, and wow, I'm actually blown away at this being the way that it actually is. That frightens the living crap out of me, to say the least, because these soldiers will end up ill. They will end up ill. Hey, look what I've done. I've made another little window for myself so you can see me rant and rave about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really disturbing. It really upsets me. Don't even have the right PPE for our boys. Here we go. Leicester put back on lockdown as virus surges again. What does it say in the blurb at the bottom? It says pubs and restaurants in Leicester will not be able to reopen on July the 4th with the rest of England, as a proposed relaxation of shielding on the 6th of July has also been cancelled in the city. The Telegraph reports the papers says the action was so sensitive from the government that its announcement was repeatedly postponed on Monday evening as a succession of meetings were held with the cabinet ministers and local officials. And a wonderful picture of the Duchess's centre thigh there. That's a scandal for the Daily Mail, showing a little bit of royal skin there. Shocking. Right, I'm going to take my next pull and catch up with the chit chat Chiruni. What are we doing? Okay, sorry. Oh, you watched the Mandalorian? I heard Mandalorian is really good. Is it? I've watched it 3 times. It is a perfect television show. And if you've got Disney Plus, you also, after you've watched it, you need to go and watch all the episodes called The Gallery, because it's about the background, the making of, and the whole kind of like the people whose hands the future of Star Wars is actually in. And it gives me great comfort and joy to look upon these people that made The Mandalorian and what they did. There is some amazing things in there, and you please do not give anybody any spoilers about it, because the last episode is spectacular. And if you are aware of a lot of the lore behind certain things within Star Wars, you'll be like, oh my god. And then when you hear it and you see it, and then you go, oh my god. There's a few oh my god moments, I tell you that much. Yeah, now I want to spend the day watching The Mandalorian again. I can go and watch it. It saved Star Wars, because the last 3 movies, let's just face it, were shit. They were shit. Hold on, you can't see my facial reactions to this. Okay, we need to go to Star Wars face cam reaction. The last 3 movies, we have to be honest with ourselves, were a bit disappointing, to say the least, you know. Crazy. Next pill. Yes, highly recommend the Mando. So who's Mandalorian? Django's dad? No, not telling you nothing. Nothing. You don't nothing. No, nobody talks about the Mandalorian. Okay, this is a Mandalorian free channel. There is 0 spoilers for people on this. All right. I swear to God, if anybody spoils The Mandalorian for anybody here, so they can't have that perfect experience that I had watching it, I will be very, 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 very sad. Okay, I'll be disappointed and sad. In fact, I will go fatherly on you. I'll give you. Hang on. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay, no spoilers for Mando. You've been warned. Okay, I will take away your pocket money. Right? Okay, good. Are we clear? Okay? No Mando spoilers. Alright? Okay, good. It's a great thing. It's considering it's Star Wars' first venture into live action television. It could have been a hit or a miss, considering that the characters in it are fresh. Okay, they're brand spanking new, but they nailed it. They nailed it. The music is perfect. The way that they filmed it, astounding. So you need to watch all 8 episodes of it, okay? And then you need to go and hold on, I need to get my phone because I need to see if there's another episode of Gallery out yet. Hold on, back in a sec. And while I'm up, let me model for you my TIE Fighter and Stormtrooper jammy bottoms. See, hold on, I can't see, hang on. Classy. I'm classy as fuck. I really am. Totally classy. Right. I can't believe I'm spending time talking about Mando instead of getting... Thank you for bringing Mandalorian up. Who was it that's brought it up? Was it Mush or was it Morgan? Okay, I miss who brought it up. Anyway, regardless, thank you for bringing it up. It's taken my mind right off the nonsense that is Boris Johnson. I may end up just speaking about the Mandalorian for the rest of the morning. No, I won't, don't worry. But I do need to check to see if there's another episode of this because I love it. Right. Okay, gallery. No, it's still only 8 episodes. That might just be the last episode. There might only be 8 episodes of gallery. But let me just tell you just now. It's worth it. It's worth binge watching. It's worth. You can watch them all in a day. Set a day aside and like completely go holy crap, and then come back to me. Send me DMs. Do whatever you want because it is. It's worth every second. It's one of those shows that have been written in such a way that every episode is kind of self-contained, alright? But there's like a whole journey through each episode that it takes you upon that is the overlying story of what the Mandalorian story is all about. And Morgan's saying Mandalorian is perfect if they could have had if they could have had the writers of that show writing the sequel trilogy if you're talking about the most up-to-date trilogy, yeah, I agree with you. But unfortunately, that was all rushed. I did not enjoy the characters in the 3 new Star Wars films at all. Although the very last episode, The Rise of Skywalker, wasn't as shit as the rest of them. It was pretty shit, but not as shit as the rest of them. Let's see what else we're saying. Yes, the main theme, it humps your ears off. Yes. Yeah, my brain gets moist when I hear that. Just my brain, okay, because it's a TV show. Did Barry buy those pajamas? No, I got these pajamas. I think I got them from my wife or my mum for Christmas. Which is good. I've got 218 subscribers now. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, only 2 off. Only 2 off, Morgan. Only 2 off. Right, anyway. Only character in the new trilogy I like is Kylo. Yes, Kylo is, in the new trilogy, he's very, very good. And the revisiting of having Luke in it as the character he was in, some people were kind of disappointed that he was kind of acting like a bit prissy and spoiled about not wanting to do stuff. I get why he was like that. He was the man that saved the galaxy from the Sith. Everybody had great expectations, and then he felt that he let the galaxy down. So it's like, nah, piss off, I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to sit here till I die. There's the Jedi are finished sort of thing. It's ridiculous. So Kylo was an alright character still. I thought Kylo was better and at his best in The Rise of Skywalker compared to the first 2. But I did defend him as, you know, when people are saying, oh, he's just having tantrums, it's just, they're trying to sort of make him out to be a bit like Anakin and you know, sort of a cross between Anakin pre-Darth Vader and Anakin sort of like as Darth Vader. And I went, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what he's playing, you know, because that's exactly who he is, and he's trying to live up to the expectations of both. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. He was definitely I'll say a weak Vader, and but it was that, I think that was kind of deliberate. You know, it was, I think that was deliberate, because he couldn't be Vader. He couldn't be Vader. And is it Adam Driver that? Yeah, is it Adam Driver that plays him? Is that who we're saying is there? I love some Adam Driver. I do love some Adam Driver though. Yeah, he's good. No, it's I think that he nailed the not being Darth Vader and not being Anakin, but trying hard to be those. And then when he became Ben in the third one, that was his best performance. And the moments that he was Ben in the second one, you know, that was who it was. It was great. I'm actually, now that I've given that a little bit of depth of thought, I have to think that Kylo was my favourite character, and he was the only one that really worked and fitted in with everything. I did not like Finn. I could stomach Poe just and no more. Definitely those two in the first 2, nut. And the horsey thing on the top of the Death Star, what? Please? I was really disappointed with that. Not the Death Star, the Star Destroyer, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Now, we'll talk about Rey. Yeah. No. First episode, nah. Second episode, third episode, better than the other 2. I think that the characters are a bit more rounded by the time they hit the third episode, and that's why the third episode is less of a shit movie than the other 2. But there you go. what was it? I did like it when he jumped in the last movie and said, "Ow." Yeah. You love Finn and Poe. Morgan, get out. Get out. I'm not speaking to you anymore. They were shit. Okay, I'm only joking. They should have been Finn and Poe. Stupid Disney. I think that the bromance between Finn and Poe, it came across as a bit plasticky to me. I didn't like Finn at all. I couldn't gel with him. It didn't work. It wasn't jelly enough for me at all, you know. I felt that it was a bit fake. He was this character. It was just, and Poe. He gets away with what he was doing because he was supposed to be that sort of like a younger, cocky as hell sort of military version of Han Solo, I guess, you know. But it didn't work. Those two characters didn't work for me again until the third episode, because I was like going in with no expectations whatsoever. I had very high I tell you, right, I took my kids to see The Force Awakens, and we left the movie theatre, and Paxton none of us said a word after watching it. I think they were looking at me waiting for my reaction, because they know that I am what's it called? They know that I'm very, very much a Star Wars fan, and it's been part of my life. Like Flash Gordon, the original sort of like black and white series, was a big part of my life growing up. Big influences in the way that I think. And there I am, walking out the movie theatre with my 3 children, and then Paxton turns around and says, "Dad, what the hell was that we just watched?" And I went, "I know, son. It was like they were trying to remake A New Hope with a bigger, badder Death Star and shit characters." Like this. And he was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it was." And that's exactly what it was. It was poorly executed right the way through, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't good in my bit at all. Let's have a wee look. You don't need to have a female character be perfect. Yeah. No, you're right. You don't need to have a female character be perfect. You don't need to have any characters being perfect, to be perfectly honest. But you need characters to be able to fit into the storyline that work with it all. So this is why Rey, Poe, and Finn didn't work for me in the first 2 episodes, but because they came across as a bit more rounded, and I think that they had a better writing to work with and a better storyline to work with. And yeah, I think that's the difference between enough Star Wars. That's like almost 20 minutes of Star Wars. We're supposed to be doing papers and shit just now. Really? God, see what you do to me. You set me up on a tangent and off I go. Ridiculous. I don't mind. It's a pleasure. It's better talking about this than talking about Boris Johnson, in all fairness. You know. Okay, let's have a look at the chat again, see if anybody else has joined us. If you have just joined us, please come and say hello. We don't bite often, and if we do, it's usually just a friendly nibble to say hello. Alright. Pickles, Nyla Pickles, Morgan. I did see Mush. There's Mush, yeah. We did say good morning to Mush, and we did say hiya to Mac as well. If anybody else wants to say hello, say hello. It would be good to interact with you. Right, anyway, let's go back to the papers and continue looking at them. We might revisit Star Wars again in a minute or two, which is good. Right. Dame Helen Mirren, one of my most favourite actresses of all time. If you have not seen The Cook, The Thief, The Wife and Her Lover with Helen Mirren in it, wow, you have not. It has to be in your top 10 list of movies to watch. It is a beautifully executed piece of cinematography between the colours and the way that it is shot. And the story is dark, foreboding. It's like a love triangle of ultra-violence and absolute fear. It is wonderful, wonderful. And I still to this day, I think it's based on a book, I'm not too sure. If it is based on a book, I need to read the book, because, and I've said this, every time I talk about this movie, I always think I need to go and do that, I need to go and find that out, and I never do. I'm going to do it after this show, without doubt. But anyway, that's not what this is about. Helen Mirren is talking about our theatres need the to help, because the identity of our nation is at stake here. Yeah, our theatres, we've got some beautiful old theatres in the world. We've got about 3 remarkably beautiful ones in Edinburgh alone. In fact, did you know, if you go to like a stage theatre, like one where they're doing live shows, they have this thing called a fire curtain. Tell me if you have fire curtains in America that come down and cover the front of the stage when you're going for an intermission or a break or something like that. If it's like the end of Act 1 and they draw the main curtains, and then there's something else called a fire curtain that comes down. Please tell me if you have those, and I will tell you the story of how they originated. They originate from Edinburgh, to be perfectly honest. Right, anyway, city left in limbo after lockdown. Is that Matt Hancock at the bottom there? Hey Matt, how are you? You wanker. Honest to God. The Metro says Leicester has been left in limbo. Leicester left in limbo. Leicester left in limbo. Limbo left Leicester. Leicester limbo Leicester. Leicester left Lambo. No. Leicester left in limbo is by the announcement, noting that it came just days before pubs, restaurants and hairdressers were due to reopen across England. Oh man, can you imagine being that hairdresser? God, I can't wait to cut people's hair. God, I can't wait to go to the pub after this. Oh God, it's going to be so... What? I told people to be more careful, and you're telling me there's a rat, and I can't cut hair and make money. Oh man, I feel sorry for them. I feel totally sorry for them. You're not familiar with fire curtains, right? Okay, fire curtains. Hang on. Fire curtains are like a thicker curtain that's one piece that comes down that covers the whole of the front of the stage. When there's nothing going on in the theatre, they drop it down. Any opportunity that they have, they drop it down, and it's purely because there's so many hot things with the lights and everything in the stage that if there was a fire, they don't want it to spread out. Okay, now in the days of old, before electricity, they used to use gas lights. Okay, not as in the behaviour of gaslighting and making people feel sorry for you, but actual physical gas lights to light the stage. And there was a fire in what we now know as the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh, very, very old theatre. And without going on, there's a whole story about why it happened and things like that, but I won't go into that. But as a result of this fire, throughout the world, they use fire curtains now. Some of them are more hidden than others, but all the ones in Great Britain actually have to have fire curtain written on them as part of the standard. So you might not actually realise that it's a fire curtain, but most theatres opted to start using these things. It was a magician stage show. That whole theatre's got an incredible history to it. As part of a birthday present for my daughter, I bought tickets to the ballet, to take her to the ballet at this theatre, but also to go to twice a year they do a walk around tour of all the backroom spaces where they keep all the sets and things. So I took her to that. It was really interesting, and that's where they told us this story, so it's very, very good. Hang on. Last pill dropped. Superb. Did I just see my mum? Good morning, Mum. How are you? And we didn't talk about Chewie because we didn't. Chewie doesn't need to be criticised because Chewie is awesome. Alright, there we go. Okay, let's have a quick look at the chat before we carry on. Oh, yeah, Solway, why are you not shouting this morning? I miss you shout. Oh, Solway's in the house. Good morning, Solway. How are you? Oh, now we can have a remix song of that limbo bit. We could do, couldn't we? I no doubt somebody will do that. Maybe that'll be fun. Right, okay. Without caps, I barely recognised you. Very good, Nyla. I like that one. I like that one greatly. Right, okay. Daily Express. 5 billion new deal to start Britain. PM vows to modernise hospitals, schools and high streets. Elsewhere, the Daily Express focuses on Boris Johnson's promise of a 5 billion new deal to kick-start the economic recovery after the coronavirus crisis. In a major speech on Tuesday, the Prime Minister is set to unveil plans in an infrastructure revolution to modernise hospitals, schools, roads, prisons, the courts, high streets and town centres, the paper reports. Hold on a second. It's time to go mental. That is everything that Labour wanted to do in the last election. Ba-boom! Okay, wow. You know, do you recognise now, Tories, that the infrastructure in the UK is shit? Stop shouting, Solway. I can see you now in the chat, okay? For God's sake. I mean, really. But honestly, everything there that Boris is talking about is what Labour talked about doing. And, you know, the Tories said, oh, we don't have enough money for that. Where are you going to get the money from? There's not a magic money tree here. Well, obviously there is, because we found the money to prop up Great Britain with coronavirus, and now we're sort of like, what the hell? Let's just go and get some more money, and we'll spend. And that's the thing. Okay, if you're improving the infrastructure, it does create jobs. It does create a boost to the economy, because infrastructure in Britain is pretty crappy, to be perfectly honest. We should be a first world nation, and we're just a second-rate pariah state, to be perfectly honest. It's unbelievable with it all. And I just feel it's hypocritical, but welcome nonetheless, don't get me wrong, okay? But will any of that money end up in Scotland? Because there was promises made. Actually, I'll have a look at this while we're doing it. I'm sure there was conservative promises, election promises to Scotland. I'm sure that there was a thing where they were going to spend more money in Scotland. Conservatives manifesto at a glance. More than 3 billion on Scottish public services. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. Right, so 3 of that 5 billion is coming to Scotland if they live up to their manifesto promises. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. Crazy world. Crazy world. But nah, I don't think any of it will actually reach us whatsoever. Great picture of Boris here. Look at this. There he is. Smiley Bojo. New Deal spending spree to boost Britain's recovery. Amazing. I actually genuinely like that picture. It's not as creepy as the rest of them. He's obviously been practicing how to smile and not look like a pervert, you know, because he doesn't look as creepy as he usually. He still looks creepy. Okay, he still looks creepy. What? Oh, okay. Cool pickles, thank you. So yeah, it still looks creepy, but not nearly as creepy, to be perfectly honest. Which is a good thing. And the new spending spree stuff is all good in the hood, and I'm all for it. Ah, what is that? That's a nice song. Is it a song? Okay, pushing the love. Ah, I'm actually wanting. I'm curious to see what this is now. Okay, right. I'm gonna have that playing there just so I can see what it is, and then we'll play it after. Bad lip reading. Oh yeah, we like things like this. Bushes of Love extended lyric video. It's Star Wars! Right, I want to give that my 100% attention afterwards. That's going to be my treat for finishing the show. Oh yes. Right, where did we get to? The Guardian. First Churchill, now Roosevelt. Johnson promises UK New Deal. I'm going to be interested to see what he's got to say today. He's going to be throwing his... Hang on. I need you to see my thumbs. He'll be throwing his thumbs about, going, and we live in a fantastic nation. We need to harness the talent of this nation and move forward after coronavirus and make it a world-class place to be. Yes. But, yes, handing contracts out to your Tory chums. Meanwhile, in Scotland, we recognise that the second vote for the SNP is worthless in our two-voting system, cast a two-vote system up here, and we prepare for the elections in 2021 to fucking crucify the Unionists. Watch this space for a special on Scottish political history, and watch more rant. I will be switching chat off for that particular show. For me, you guys can chat, alright, but I cannot be distracted one bit, and I will take questions at the end of the Scottish political history show. I need to get all my facts lined up. I'm writing it just now. It's going to be from notes, from political speeches that you guys I can pull up and show you the nonsense, the lies that Scotland have been through. Did you know, right? Scotland has this. I'm sorry. This I need to go off on one here just now. This is something just as a tidbit just now. Can you imagine? All right, living in a country. Scotland is a country. We are a state. We are a nation. We are a people. We are a culture. We are a separate entity from England, Northern Ireland, and Wales. But we are in a union. Okay, with three other countries, all right? We are in a political and economic union, all right? And we are the only country in the world that has to ask the government that looks after those ones. We have to ask permission to have a referendum to decide if we want to leave that union, all right? Let that sink in for a minute. Can you imagine, all right, America and Canada being in a political and economic union, and America having to ask Canada for permission to have a referendum to decide whether they should leave or not? All right? That is the position we are in. Okay, meanwhile, Canada is basically been sucking all your resources into wherever Canada's capital is, and the Canada's capital city is like this metropolis of like spending and amazingness, the same way as London is. Okay, but they don't tell you that, you know, in the Gulf of Mexico they found oil, a ridiculous amount of oil, during the time when oil was booming. All right, and they actually wrote a paper saying, hey, listen, we can't tell the Americans that there's oil in the Gulf of Mexico, because, you know, if they did that, they'd want independence from this political union. You know, we can't tell them. We need to make sure that they don't know, because they'll. Can you imagine the Americans with all that oil? You know, they would spend it on. They wouldn't spend it in Canada. You know, that's what friggin' happened here. There's a thing called the Macron's report, you know, which is basically, it was the Labour Party, after oil was found in the North Sea, that basically decided to keep the extent of that oil a secret from the Scottish people. We didn't even have a parliament then. We would have had no say anyway, but they would have been all like, wait a minute. The rise of an independently thinking Scotland would have come far quicker if we knew the extent of it all. Now, please do not consider me anti-English. My dad is English, All right, my father is English. I have nothing against English people. They're beautiful people. They're just people like Scottish people, but with a different accent. Okay, and many of them think that Westminster is they're a bunch of wankers as well. Okay, however, it is ridiculous to consider that we have to ask permission. Yeah, look, that's great. Pickles is saying if we as the Texas state want to leave the Union, we can. Texas has its own electric grid, unlike any. We've got all that too. We have pretty much all the fresh water is in Scotland. All right. I mean, England have got a whole bunch of fresh water as well, but not as much as us. We have the majority. We've got the biggest coastline in Europe. All right, we have the greatest potential for wind and tidal, offshore wind and tidal. Okay, incidentally, all right, the Queen owns up to 25 miles from the coastline out to sea, right the way around Great Britain. Okay, so any wind farms or what's it called, tidal farms that are in estuaries and things, she holds the rights to. That's not going to wash in an independent Scotland, and I'm not anti-royal. I'm just anti-wanker. Okay. Oh my God, I'm off on one. I can feel the burning rage. I still have in my windows. I've got 2 windows that face the front of my house, a double window and a single window. And in the single window there's a great big blue Y, and in the double window there's an E and an S, and it spells yes. Okay, because I am what they call a yes man, but not as in the yes man. Okay, yeah, yes. I'm not that sort of yes man. I'm yes as in I will vote yes every single time for an independent Scotland, and I vowed that they would never come down unless I was replacing them because they got a bit dirty. Okay, they would never ever come down until we move house or we have an independent Scotland. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. We have separation of legal, religious and educational systems up here, Pickles, compared to England. Alright, so we have what's called Scots law, and we have laws that supersede, and part of the union is that the High Court in England can't override the High Court in Scotland. So if we make a decision up here, all right, if we're up here and we make a legal decision like something really important, it can't be overturned by a legal court. They would never do that because that undermines everything more so about the union. All right, in ways that they can't imagine. And just now, we passed in the Scottish Parliament, we passed the Referendums Act 2019, which is basically a checklist, a legal checklist of the competencies necessary to hold our own referendums without the discussional need to have it with Westminster. But because it's a new law, it's never been tested in court. So we work on the precedent law process. So if a legal decision has been made on a law in the past, it's likely that same decision will be made in the future because they look at past cases. Because this is a new law, it's not been tested. All right. Coleslaw. Really? Are you mocking my legal system? Are you? That's the sort of thing Barry would come out with. Alright? If Barry's in the house, you have just been completely... your crown has been tipped slightly, mate, for the person that comes up with the shittest jokes ever. Okay? Morgan Riley, you are a princess of shit jokes. Alright? I'm just saying that right now. Unbelievable. Crazy. Hail Mary, Queen of Scots. Yeah. Breathe and zen. I'm okay. I'm very, very passionate. I've wanted Scottish independence since I was 14, and I've voted. I was very sort of like, yeah, I quite fancy Scottish independence. I think we should be independent. Yeah. I voted Labour all my life until Tony Blair took us to war, and then I didn't know who to vote for at that time. The Scottish National Party, not Nationalist Party, the Scottish National Party didn't really have a foothold in Scotland the way that they wanted it to. So we eventually they became a bit more popular. I joined the party. I'm a card-carrying member of the Scottish National Party, and I'm this close to actually starting my own political party. If I had enough money to do it, I'm going to actually do a fundraiser for it, called Pro Indie, and have my manifesto completely aligned with the SNP, but only have my party working in what they call the list seats. I need to explain what this is, okay? I'm sorry, we're going to spend 5 minutes talking about this. This is not a rant, this is an education, right? In Scotland, we work on a voting system called the additional member process, right? And basically what happens is everybody works in the UK on a first past the post system. You vote for your local candidate, okay, and whoever gets the most votes in that constituency wins. Okay, so then you add up all the candidates, okay, the winning future members of the Scottish Parliament, okay, and that gives you your overall majority. That would be how the whole of Great Britain works as well. However, in Scotland we have a second vote as well, and the second vote is for what they call list seats. Okay, so they look at the regional geographic areas of Scotland, okay, and there's about 10 to 15 constituencies in each geographic region. Okay, so each political party field 7 candidates for the list seats for each region. Okay, then your second vote goes in and you vote for a party. Now what this does, it means that there will be an even balance of people coming in, and it's to prevent one party from having a ridiculous majority. Okay, so it becomes a fairer discussion point, and it also means that everybody in Scotland is represented by 8 politicians. Okay, because you have 7 politicians in your regional area and 1 in your local constituency. So they will represent the best interest. It might not be politically your way of thinking, but that's just the way that it works. Now, to make it completely fair, right, this is how they work out the list seats. Okay, if we'll just say if the SNP win 9 out of the 10 constituency seats, all right, what happens there is, I thought I heard the baby coming through. What happens there is they take all the list seats. Sorry, let's start again. If a party wins the majority of the constituency seats, say 9 out of 10 of the constituency seats, they take all the votes from the list voting. Okay, they look at them and they say, right, you've won 9 out of 10 of those, so we're going to divide your votes by 9 plus 1. So let's say it's 1,000 votes for that party, just to keep the numbers nice and easy. Okay, so they've got 9 seats won in the constituency, then they add an extra one on, but they don't get that seat, it's just for numbers, alright, and then they divide the votes by that, and that is your new amount of votes. So if I was to vote SNP in constituency and SNP in my list seats, okay, and SNP did really, really well, it means that my vote is technically wasted in the list seat part, because instead of having 1,000 votes now, we've only got 100 votes. So that basically means that the parties that might have 5,000 or 6,000 votes are obviously going to do better. Okay, obviously they as well, if they've got one candidate in the constituency seats, they do 1 plus 1 and divide their total votes by 2. And what this does, they go through different stages of dividing how many people they have, like how many seats they've got, until all the places are filled. And what that allows is, like, give you a good example, actual figures, is that in 2016 the SNP in our region got 116,000 votes, okay, but they got none of the list seats. The Conservative Party had about 50,000 votes, well under half of what they were, the next greatest party, okay, but they got 4 out of the 7 list seats, okay. So you can see how it boosts the chances for opposition parties to come through, so there's a level playing field for discussion in Parliament. Now, I think that system is great. I really, really do. Alright? It almost seems confusing on purpose. It does, but it's not confusing. It really isn't when you look at it. I've got a fantastic video that I've been thrown around Facebook shouting at people that are Scottish National Party voters that go, no, we need to be voting SNP and SNP, and it's like, no! Vote for anybody in your second vote other than SNP. Just don't fucking vote for them. Okay, vote for another pro-indie party. This is why I want. There's one called the Independence Party of Scotland, IPS or something, or the Independent Scottish Party. Okay, but they've got values which they're for independent Scotland. That's great, and they have my vote just now. But if somebody comes along that is more aligned with how the SNP think, I would vote for them first. This is why I'm thinking a party purely called Pro-Indie, which is quite a nice modern sort of looking at it, that basically goes on the platform of we believe in everything that the SNP do, except for one thing. And I'll make something up, I don't know what it is, just because we have to have that slight differences. But maybe it could be we aggressively want to remove unionists, parliamentarians from the list. And I think if we fielded 7 candidates in each region, that the SNP vote overall in Scotland would go to them. But it's just the way that it goes, Right, let's have a quick look at what's going on in the chat and go back to the papers, because it is past my going back to bed time. It does seem confusing. I'll put that link of that video up. I've actually got it in my playlist, so I'm going to do it now. I will bring it up 1 second. I'm going to stick it across in Discord. It's 11 minutes long, all right, but it explains the mathematics of the system that we use with a very dry Scottish accent speaking at the time, and you can see that. And he doesn't talk about actual political parties. He talks about animal elections, which is he has the dog party and the cat party and stuff like that. Now, where's that video? There it is. There, I've watched this about 4 or 5 times. So I'm completely versed on it all, right? It's worth watching if you want to understand how the second vote works, because I think overall in the 2016 elections, the SNP got two seats from the list as a nation, right? Overall as the nation, but they got like the over 50% of the vote. So it just says something, oh wait, now that's not what I'm looking for. I just clicked onto Streamlabs instead of Discord on my phone. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Okay, right. Okay. Right, very good. And where is it? There it is. And we will put this in the Radio Apocalypse thing there. That's amazing. Right, excellent. Right, this is purely out of interest for you guys, right? If you're wanting to understand how it works. It's not complicated when you look at it. It's one of those things. So have a wee look at it. It's sitting there in the Radio Apocalypse thing now. It's 11 minutes long. It only explains how the voting system operates. It doesn't explain the politics of it all. But to me, I want to get rid of as many unionists in Scotland as I possibly can. It's something that I feel very strongly about. We deliver we already have a majority of we have a pro-indie party in power in Scotland. the SNP, and they've been in power. Labour will never get back in power, and the Tories certainly won't get in power. But because of the second vote, the Tories are the second strongest party in Scotland, which is a fucking joke, considering that they raped the entirety. Their London office, the Westminster's raped Scotland for the majority of the time that it's been around. It's outrageous. Anyway, we're going to the lovely Financial Times to have a look at that beautiful colour that is the Financial Times wallpaper. No, that's my wallpaper. Yeah, good. What Wall Street banks bag bonanza fees as pandemic debt sales soar. Wow. Incredible. Let's read what it says in the blurb. The Financial Times reports that investment banking fees have rocketed to a record 57 billion in the first 6 months of the year. That's a scandal. The paper says fees have been boosted by a series of lucrative debt sales as companies grabbed cash to tide them over the coronavirus. Talk about taking advantage of the system. Daily Star. What's that, Sooty? What is this? Ricky's got a bee in his bonnet. World would be better if we had no humans. Yeah, possibly. But then there'd be nobody to complain about it, Ricky. Okay, first they came for the Winstons and we did not speak out. Then they came for our Baden-Powells and we did not speak out. Now they come for our Wurzels. Right, very good. Wurzel Gummidge. Finally, the Daily Star reports the statue of Wurzel's frontman, Aj Cutler, has been vandalised. Googly eyes have been stuck on the tribute to the West Country singer. Has sparked fury from fans, according to the paper. I don't have a problem with that. I think that looks great. You know? Listen, I've said this before. I don't think we should be pulling down the statues. I think we should rebrand them as lessons learned from the past. Do that Wikipedia thing and get plaques on them. But I'm now willing to go a step further. I think that we should get students in every single year, from art colleges all throughout the world, to go to the statues that celebrate colonialism, racism, slavery, all that sort of thing, and respray them every year in their own version of the lessons learned. Okay, make them a colourful, sort of mocking type. Look, we recognise that this is how we used to live and that was wrong. Okay, so what we want to do is celebrate that we've evolved into people that understand. It's like going back to you can't erase history, you need to learn from it. And I feel that the majority of good people in the world have learned from that. We don't have the same sort of slavery as we did back then in most countries. I mean, it is prevalent in parts of the world, but not in the state of just going in and rounding up like black men and women and families from Africa and shipping them across in ships. We still have human trafficking and sex slavery and stuff like that, which is an absolute disgrace. Of course we do. Okay, but there's no statues going up of men or women or institutes that have made money or were good at sex trafficking people, because we know that that's wrong. You know, that's the thing. So we know that slavery was wrong. We know that racism's wrong. We know that the way that the world was run in the times that these statues went up was not right. So, you know, don't tear them down. Make them an example of how not to behave. You know, and every year, like, art students as a competition have to submit the design for the statue that they want to vandalise, and then it should be put to a public vote online. You know? That would be brilliant. It would be astounding. Every year it changes. And the only thing that the local councils have to do is once a year whitewash the statues, so it's with some primer paint, so they can like have a nice base to spray and do their design upon. You know, I think I would love to see that happen. I think there's one statue in Edinburgh that's the top of like a 100-foot pillar on St Andrew's Square. I mean, that would just be, could we just paint the whole of the pillar? You know, we could do something amazing with that. That would be like, wow, astounding. And at the same time, we should do Margaret Thatcher statues in London as well, because she was a bitch. Anyway, that's just how I feel. That is how I feel. Right, shall we find some Zen-like poetry to finish with today? Because I kind of feel a bit unbalanced, and I need to come back into my level-headed bit of balance. I think it's important. I have been privileged enough to be working with an artist in the community, okay, and that is Twinkie. I'm going to say this just now, that she did a unique piece for me to overlay my words. She said, do you fancy doing a collaboration? And I went, absolutely. So I'm kind of announcing this just now. And weeks ago I received the piece because I wanted to be inspired by her work, of what she's done. You're not getting to see the picture, alright? You're not getting to see it. And I'm not going to read the words of this poem to you, because I finished the poem yesterday. And let me just say just now, where's it gone? Bollocks. Okay, it's not that one. You better not have lost. Oh no. Right, well that's not good. It's not there anymore. Oh no, there it is there. Brilliant. Okay, so it is, where is it? Let me just go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 verses long. And it's a good poem. It's got a very, very strong message. So I'm finishing, this is the piece of work that I'm finishing today, because I need to make a video. It might take me 2 or 3 days to actually do this, because I need to, it's not just cutting and pasting and putting my words onto her thing. Okay, it is, I'm not going to tell you. Alright? It's, I'm not going to tell you. But it's going to be a beautiful piece, and I need to find an apt piece of music that kind of brings out the calm that I have in my life as well. I think I'm going to go for that Oriental Zen type music in the background, because it's not offensive and it kind of lingers there and it won't overpower the words. Okay, which is good. Right, but let's find another poem. Should we go to Facebook again? If I can't find one on my big notepad of poetry, we will see. Right, here we go. We've done that one. We've done that one. Oh, wait, what's that? Ah. Yes. This is a short poem. I don't know whether I've done this one before, so you have to forgive me. I can't remember doing it before. It's called The Things I Do. And I need to drink something, hold on. And it's about me. Oh man, I've got a bit of a mucousy throat. It must be the virus in the air. Anytime, because I've had 102 doses of this exceptionally strong immunotherapy during my cancer treatment, and only 3 of these doses last for 7 years in your body, the fact that I've had 102 of them, I think that I'm going to turn into Wolverine and be immune to everything. Because anytime I'm anywhere near anything that's viral, I mucus up. So I think that it might be in the house. So I'm going to have to go and clean everything. Either that, or I've just got a cold coming on and it's ran out by now. But I don't think so. Okay. That's clear and better. So yes, the things I do. It's about me. and my clogged up throat. Let's move the camera over here. There we go. God. We're okay. We're alive. Okay, we'll discuss the ins and outs of it at the end. The things I do. I train my brain by writing, conversing, listening to remain sharp and forever questioning. I train my soul by praying, forgiving, reading, to become honest and forever understanding. I train my body to be strong, to be lean and keen, without vanity, to be forever unseen. I train for them, to be better for my family true, the three that who I raise with love and good values imbue. That was a mantra of mine. I think it's actually when I look at it, it's quite a good positivity mantra. I'm going to read it again. I train my brain by writing, conversing, listening, to remain sharp and forever questioning. I train my soul by praying, forgiving, reading, to become honest and forever understanding. I train my body to become strong, to be lean and keen, without vanity, to be forever unseen. I train for them, to be better for my family true, the three that who I raise with love and good values imbue. That's going in our positive mantra section on Discord. I'm so glad I found that again. But that is kind of the way that I like to lead my life. It's the things I do. It is the things I do. And that was written well before I married my wife. Was it? When did I get married again? Was it? Hold on. Yeah, it is. Because 2017, yeah. At the start of 2017, before I got married, yeah. Yes, it was. But yeah, no, that's going to go. I'm going to copy and paste that and stick it in the positivity mantra. And anybody that wants to use that for their own personal mantra, use it, but live it as well. Live those positive values. It's important. It's very, very, very important that if you decide that you want to do that, and go for it. Go for it. I can see that Solway's been talking about democracy and corruption in the what's it called, in the political sphere in Ireland. Yes. Yes. I feel just to finish off on a more positive political note, we are trying desperately globally to reform the police because Black Lives Matter, and institutional racism is rife pretty much across the world. Let's face it, that there's elements in every country of this, but the word institutional should make you realize, when people talk about institutional racism, okay, that it's not based in one institute alone. It comes from the top down. If the leaders accept this behaviour, they are complicit completely in those behaviours, even if they speak up against them. They need to be able to turn round and reform, and there's things that can be done instantly without actually changing the law. Right? Like, for instance, making it police policy, okay, that every single policeman wears a body cam constantly switched on, okay, and cannot be switched off. Alright? And having batteries, because we have the technology to have it lasting their entire shift. Now, it might be that it can be switched off automatically when they're sitting in their cars. That's fine. They're sitting in their cars. not doing any harm. But then in the car, there should be something else to monitor. They have to be monitored. I'm sorry. Even the good cops, because the bad cops have let the good cops down. So we also have the technology where these cameras could be linked to the Wi-Fi systems of the world, all right? And it can be a closed, secure network. So if there is an incident that gets reported, the incident room can bring up all the body cams for those police officers, right, that are dealing with that incident, and monitor it straight away. So there is live integrity witnesses. Okay, that can be done overnight. All it costs is the will to do it and the money to put it in place. The technology is there. Okay, then what that does is it provides direct oversight to every single police officer in every single country willing to participate in that. Then it allows the politicians the time to have a structured reformation of law and order. Okay? Now, how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's, it might not stop the racism, but I tell you something, if the police couldn't lie about it because it's on fucking camera, they're going to stop it soon as. Soon as. Because they will be held accountable completely, and they need to be held accountable. However, we can't stop there. Politicians need to also be held accountable. They can't just turn around, make manifesto promises, and basically not live up to them. They have to live up to them. Okay, that's one thing, but put that to the side just now. But all politicians need to be held to a far higher standard than average citizens. Okay, this is important. They are managers of civilization. They direct the policy in which civilization is managed. So why are we not holding them more accountable to the bullshit that they do and say? They should be fact-checked. They should be with proof when they come out spouting shit. They spout shit in Westminster all the time. Even my SNP guys. Alright? They're not perfect. They should be held accountable. They should not be allowed to do it. They should be drug tested every 3 months. They should be drug tested every 3 months. They did a company did a sneaky little drugs testing thing in Westminster, okay, where they took swabs, right, and they swabbed all the toilets, the toilet seats, the toilet surfaces, and these are forensic swabs that turn a different colour when it comes into contact with cocaine. Alright? And they went into the section of the Houses of Parliament where you need a pass to get by. You get visitors' passes to go and do this. And they swabbed every single toilet. And every single toilet in my Houses of Parliament came back positive for traces of cocaine. But nothing was done about it. Nothing. That is a national scandal. I would have called in the army, put a ring of steel. I would have called every politician in, put a ring of steel round the Houses of Parliament, and forced every single one of them to take a fucking drugs test. And if they came back positive, they would have been out and repaying all of their expenses for the past 5 years. Call me a bit crazy for thinking that, but it would just mean that the people would, they would have an institution on their side, that, me being the institution, okay, basically that can hold the politicians to a higher level of accountability than you and me. Okay, if you don't want to have that level of scrutiny or that level of accountability, then don't fucking get into politics. Alright, that's your choice. It's a choice thing. But if you're making decisions that affect millions of people, you have to be held to a higher level of accountability. You cannot say mistruths, and you cannot be involved in taking drugs. Okay, you have to have integrity. You really, really do. And see if you're involved in a sex scandal. Oh my God. See you later. Alright? I swear to God, your moral compass has to be completely intact. Okay, people's who's... that's another thing we can do for the human condition. A moral compass. Yes. I like the idea of that. I firmly believe that if we don't do something, we will wake up in the actual... and when we're almost there just now, we will be waking up looking at the barn door, looking at the barn door where it has all of our laws written. And, you know, yesterday we just said we saw all animals are created equal. That's what it said yesterday. But now it says all animals are created equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That wasn't there yesterday. We'll just forget about it, we'll move on. But that is where we're heading. That is what's happening in every country. Okay, I don't care whether you like Boris or you hate Boris, whether you like Trump or you hate Trump. Okay, they're all shit. Every one of them is shit, and every one of them is in it for themselves. I don't care what you say. All right, I'm putting a blanket ban on bullshit from politicians in my mind. Okay, if you lie and talk shit, okay, or you just open your mouth and you're a politician, all right, you have to be accountable for the nonsense that you spout. Boris Johnson, even Nicola Sturgeon, there needs to be an independent sort of place where basically the facts can be pulled together. So if they say something, okay, they have a duty to tell the truth. You know, they have an absolute duty to tell the truth. So if we go back to where this conversation started, which was the cameras on police, that could fix the institutional racism issue instantly within the police force. We then moved on to the corruption of the politicians, but it doesn't stop there either. Okay, we have international institutional racism. Okay, yes, there is such a thing. It is called third world debt. Okay, so I get why. I mean, I'm very much an all lives matter person, but not in the sort of like I'm mocking Black Lives Matter. It's because I'm elevating myself to everything, not just the message that all life matters send. I know that we need to fix Black Lives Matter. I know that we need to look back in time and look at history and not behave like that anymore, which I feel that most people are pretty good at not behaving like that. I know that we need to fix institutional racism with the institution of the police. I know that we need to fix accountability of politicians, but how can we turn round and say Black Lives Matter, okay, and it not just mean that one thing within the racism of the police in America and Britain, okay, because that's what it means. It doesn't take account to Black Lives Mattering in poverty and the institutional racism that we place on third world countries with third world debt. They are kept suppressed. They are kept suppressed with what they can and they cannot do. All right. Kids are dying, and oh my God, they're dying because they drink dirty water. Does that not... Yes, put cameras on the police. Yes, Black Lives Matter, but all Black Lives Matter. You know, but we need to do small steps. I get it. But if we fix this, we shouldn't stop there. We need a global revolution of compassion and nurturing and care. We should have fucking hotels on the moon and not be fighting wars. You know? That's how I feel. You know, the way the economy is structured is always going to benefit the people at the top of the pyramid. You know, we should be living in a Star Trek world. Why have we got fucking food shortages in the world? You know, we're led to believe that... Here's fake news for you. There's not enough room for everybody to live in the world. That's bullshit. There's not enough resources for people in the world. That's bullshit. Okay, it's just that the resources are badly managed. The resources are a legacy for every single person on this planet. It's not just owned by the countries. Okay, that's my opinion. It's an opinion, it's not factual, because the facts are that there's been agreements on paper made that the country, within the country's borders, those resources belong to that country. Okay, so that means that there's always going to be poverty, you know, because people will take advantage of that, right? But that's wrong, you know. And I've talked about my sort of like political sphere for being able to operate a global economy. Okay, it should be run by capitalism. This is where the money comes from. The proper taxation of capitalist values, all right? But capitalist values where human beings come first. You cannot, anything that has a soul, okay, has more rights over something that doesn't have a soul, i.e. a company, all right? A soulless entity like Walmart, like shops in Edinburgh, McDonald's, these are soulless entities, but they have more rights over the way that things work. You have to be held accountable in your workplace, absolutely, all right? That's true, right? But why is it more important to the shareholder over people's lives and livelihood and jobs? They should still be allowed to work. They shouldn't be, oh, we're not making enough profit. We need to cut back. So more people have to do more work because there's less people doing it. Okay? So they have to do more work. So their health and their mental health suffer because they're getting more and more pressure placed upon them. Okay? So in my paradigm, okay, yes, capitalism needs to be there. You need to be inspired to move forward and to better yourself and to work hard to be able to do things, but it has to be not at the expense of other human beings, all right? And it has to be taxed fairly. Like companies should be taxed shitloads more than human beings to pay for the socialist. I know people don't like that word, so I'm going to replace socialist with for the people management of the civilization of infrastructure. It's basically socialism wrapped up in a nice pink bow. All right, we need to be able to pay for socialism, so you have free medical care and the doctors and nurses are paid a proper wage. You have good roads, you have electricity and gas and power and infrastructure like internet and public transport that cost next to nothing. You have food production on a state level and a private level, so you can have all your farms and things that supply all the shops and things, but there should also be state food production things. And you telling me just now that we don't have technology to build massive greenhouses or even to turn parts of the Sahara Desert into places that can actually produce food for the world? Of course we can. Okay, there is places in England that I'm going to find the video for this and stick it on Radio Apocalypse as well. All right, there's places in England which have massive greenhouses that use hydroponics and aquaponics to grow peppers, cucumbers and tomatoes on a scale that they supply shops, big old shops, all right, throughout the UK. So why can't we do that, funded by the government, to produce cheap vegetables and things like that to be sold, that are used for people that might not be as wealthy as other people? Okay, so from a social point of view, you know, it's maybe even free. I don't know. Okay, those are the nitty-gritty things. But the main aspect of it is, right, you have socialist values managing civilization, and you have capitalist values paying for that management of the socialist values of civilization, and they work together. All right, that is the way forward for it all, because everybody has a right to live. Every life matters. That is my every life matters. All life matters. That is how I feel about it. It's not just, oh, you're saying Black Lives Matter, so I'm going to say all lives matters because I'm a fucking dick. Well, go and be a dick. That's your choice. All right, I have clearly justified my every life matters. It's not all life matters. I've changed it. Every life matters, because we shouldn't be living in a world where kids have to walk 10, 20 miles a day to get a fucking bucket of water that they know if they drink it they could get ill and then they could die. That is what institutional racism is to me. We are suppressing their rights to clean water. The things I do. I train my brain by writing, conversing, listening to remain sharp and forever questioning. I train my soul by praying, forgiving, reading, to become honest and forever understanding. I train my body to be strong, to be lean and keen, without vanity, to be forever seen. I train them to be better for my family true, the three that who I raise with love and good values imbue. I will see you all later. It's been a pleasure speaking to you this morning. Thank you for sharing that hour and 40 minutes. Take care.